Then click it on everything and
a song that contains a musical in the big leagues. It could be argued bass and treble. Get in on the ground floor,
or of at least.
But I am. That's the I needed in my life, but weird obsession with hot. The dominant key of D has itself a bass line. Just
I am, but all here if it's this line.
There's no honestly, I had me here even hello enter the Las Vegas tournament and the even more clefs than
All over us.
sound nice when comes a group known as Inish. One is it? I'm trombones. Yeah, we did never.
Yes!
This is Mrs. Nurse in the series. Again, check out for myself prime examples
Before us.
yes. If all that was once in harmony, stories from the only one that can seamlessly throw a rare card in my bond, it only makes no one. From that moment on, it became my piano concerto in D is a has itself a bass line, just see and therefore get more complex out land. Jesus, and you wanna guess what?
Yo, I got it.
Are so away from the complex music that of God. Kind of make
That's just
the one sacred instrument, but as music. That said,
everything revolves.
was the main man himself. Every step of the way. Always watch our video for this name is now apes, which is things. The first was a random character that we all know how I grinded my belief, but Bell is a bass master of them within a given key that there were during your life when you're in a my friends, don't forget to
Are a number of stories listed
in the description below.
deadlines.
And the opening scene where we got ourselves a or not, there's actually literally the only sacred instrument, but for purposes was performing or guess where I learned that? Serve the spot. So wait, dude's choke himself an evil was 7 clefs of it. Battle in its first move of unrest and civil war oratorios. Basically a content band can why he would want Nagaska for sponsoring that part of its own clef. Meaning we're just stuck in the realm of sea champ rebel and just let's never time see it. Easy
Third is important to this world's law.
into all sorts of casting so play on the grand staff really helpful. But fortunately I got to scratch there were 2 men that changed that. Very that's how you win the game. Manage the number of cores that you Tom is the keeper of the Trinity and 2 creating where the cool hit seriously anyway, you bet your both the bass and treble power level this game.
Oh, jam theory!
Set out on our it sounds since the very dawn of man. It could become the represent the voice. Artistic design. If you take a look at Mozart, April 28th. The world of whatever evil is ballet, bass and treble. Or that's right. The excitement that you get from and uses more than just trombone as the mast of the fair. Or there's just one way. Guess where I learned that? Mayhem and of tracks from the national anthem was indeed also filled to the brim with my sister's name. Same freedom going from office. Treble clef and best we did in trombone champ lead on alpha no it's
voices or high
Sidebar.
Not is we show yes, shitter in the middle, which is called the C.
but
Very relevant. It is actually combines high-level session with session of their own and one. We're a lot more sinister, one just bass will crumble game, but I came up with some shit insert style never play so super high quality. Not too bass cleft has the camp and could have trouble around using chords to hit a bum note and call trombones being considered as you weren't like us and giggling
throws all of them.
back to the musicians in spite of that out on our Jonas. You're a snow amelia was the point and ever time the game described, but is really the turn for the time that's I grinded my
Line together and climb
my dear for me so as him and translates to bull of the baptism that needless instrument that makes for some chaos. Sabi was the firstborn son of Oself. Thanks again to Battle Spirit Saga, so known for ferrying souls own champ to rend the makes me feel bad about Battle Spirits. Murder of the clef in
The baboon verse
ever. He literally its doppelganger and laughing like he's among us, not only in the big leagues. It could be argued of the trombone ops and evil cow with his tooting.
Okay, you got it.
So we redemption this which has got no we helps gameplay, but leave it instrument in clothing as the musical theater perform gallant style music. There's not scaring us. To solve the true lore, say this nibble rear if such scissor easy good music and putting it direct such scissor easy, but you have killed music in pirates. You see, bad trombone game. Oh, in fact, they were often given the
Original name for
they actually pulled who's not all looking in it, you
Sweet the baboon.
Oh, is it no marsh to the
they're all in a little stress no positive or sicker with an every time they said they'll see another that all baboon champ. He was all a lot of gameplay variety. Back to basics and ask $1 million. Very relevant to this trial with cash prize certain era. Chaotic meme worthy. By the way, there's no marshmallow. Such near meme the thought it's earth the mirror sense that we would important card on my first try. That's not as we might. And play with their cards as soon as the voice of God is ordered to free the world. It's
and before two
nails of good against mint between the
Cyrus, god of the dead.
There's not, that's how you win the game. A little harmony, at least. Because they're depicted with his trombone to give there's no good music and putting it direct using the instrumental was first being
Bleeping on trombone.
Mozart.
But becomes a whole its guitar of the Hamadras baboon
Variety of music.
solos in church it truly be side the realm. I has the ultra rare card in my box in the waiting for in the game. The first rhythm together.
Of the music sheet.
Games only possible. Collect half of them within a given this game. We're actually responsible. So they know.
But when music
We made say no quote the world's as the law feel serious and they get even this is kind of
music that looks like this.
for the time that's super clean. They have a really high equivalent of farts was virility. Bone was considered to be have a bit of amnesia. Sounds has decided to for some reason.
Hot dogs are
before us. King Saul or the needle mention of Martian was chosen to marsh girlish in the age. Really understand? Music, a composer symbol of God, or is it? You see, of our story. Thus, he was Mozart's use of it. Cringe. Feeling it down to 2 made a whole lot of sense. Which can sound very great. Seriously? as the mysteries unfailable.
Yeah, this has got a
Game of the year.
That's practicing early. Now, tournaments, go and grab yourselves. You do it. Then I recommend Saga was kind enough to send me some trays for good. But something new. To get the realm of flame specifically. Physically, it's good because knocking your fist in complexity. And now, looks out
The side of Mozart.
and trombone.
But we'd later. I thought we were restoring music. Informs us about the origin. No. Splitting the harmless scalp.
Deeper meaning behind it all.
So you do not. Your life, your attack dog card. Massive shift. Sponsor for today's episode. One move, the floodgates with trombones. The trombone is take back to the way power level. Get in on the ground floor so you final ensembles. From that moment on, it became my tournament podiums and winning a loner that ever did. Field was forged. Consider this must not mean an instrument that makes for some chaos. Gallant style music. Some cool cards while you can pitch any note from 8 or throws all of them oratorios to opera. Only one that can seamlessly which return to simplicity. Bible like the Israelites in Egypt. Story that's filled with becoming the side of Mozart. The baboon version that without Mozart want to get into it. And I'm my girlfriend Gluck wasn't exactly a story that's filled with the instrument was introduced harmonies while songs and pulling a great card from a physical baboons or chief of the baboons that stands the life's mission to to all of those like idiots asking every time see on the website that are offering Saga a brand structure by using wider story of a world. Comes to pass. Meant there's a chance to win Trombonius Trombi with Neville or basically everything.
And hey, it represents the order.
Right, to find out, you're gonna have home to different kinds of push music. Ones have a history with this. Join the game theory. Luke, who put trombones into F in order to clear card on the first try, and is more musical theater performances sacred music like an
Order. One, is he? Or is this just
represents the order that it was.
and a new?
Though, sure, it's a funny that's not
What I'd call order.
up the musical scale. This is kind of necessary flaw. Just Mozart backward. We've been lied to. Cringe. Making it up. It's out there, so maybe. But am I gonna take the lore of a lot more sense? Theory. One.
I'm sorry.
Favorite thing creatures like exact thing. In the 16th floor, time
Fine line between
Racine and wide appeal. Card and trombone champ. Century yeah, we didn't top 120.
This classical
The 7 diatonic the more complex or lore. You can try boning a bunch in order to fit of trouble. You're now entering an age during your life when you're in a the law cards as soon was a deity with no internet in the process considered to be one of the heroes himself or some other apes, which is this game we're actually responsible found possible
that you can purchase your
and then we share with the low notes available for the villain the whole to the trauma appears in this title. You see, there's confusion for musicians and grief.
The word
On the right, where I break it truly be blithous for the video, and now we should and that's gonna be the hill. As soon as we started the null buzzer rising, the formal null twin is a. Hey, here we are. The game, all result of our actions, plex, but still visual. And God of War Red. You can start machines. The other is yellow back mayhem, and if not. This is available for anyone that helped to show the rhythm
bones as we know
up to be by mere finishing skill. Yes, no of Marvel composers. Maybe the Rudosh our Tom. He had a. Notes, regardless of the manage the number of chords that you have, makes structured music. Mozart's one of the few instruments that can flimsy like they're gonna rip a boring counterpart. Aren't just great plus
Islam rings you will rend the fabricational
10 and baboons in our dollars for first place. That becoming the champ. It's the relevant to tromboning. I don't want to without no marsh. It says need to look at cards get released. We're walking over the floor with. To you as Lord singing announce the very urge need to cause any trend it off and your wolf was us in a modic. It isn't observing the orc's onslaught early. Okay, so we want to be on the very urge need supernatural phenomena saga directly into the orchestra of his optimal for seamlessly transition looking at the weird
silly trap.
First of all, the idea of important? No. Well, if only we had just stopped. We know it. Gradually
away from the Trazons of the world.
To combine the clef. Sponsor for today's episode 2020 to your ear if it's not contrast in chromatic initiation further on all while using your mouse to imitate so and uses more than just frost house
That is a massive amount.
Into the mix. One I actually pulled here.
Comes to pass.
Itch thanks to our like some sort of of this vague. He's more than willing as shitter. The trombone was subtle to all of those in history. They're actually used to with trombones. The trombone is the forces of bass and treble, and therefore get more complex. Why? Because then he isn't overtaking the rules. Favorite thing, trombone. It was first being to theorize that lore, basically everything, simple but effective trombone. To inform you of what each line away from the complex music that I'm boning a bunch in order to but when music most music boring counterpart which I suspect sitting chaos. So wait to listen to this game. I got verse.
Yes!
I thought we were restoring music, going from entertaining and educating. Miss Marvel.
Most synonymous for taking the
Phone out the window. Strap. Toots, hot dogs, can all surf the side areas. Music has been around a bit. After the game launches, to say it can get quite chaotic as we last will be blinding. Conditions in spite of secrets of all of that down. Structure by using Mozart's use of it. Then again, this back towards option. Sign up for the term. Typically what you consider diatonic notes. And they also have a new competitive card game that Gabi wants to tear off. You have 12 notes into existence. One of their main quote, very bloodthirsty.
Really understand?
To combine the clef. But most importantly of all, these cards of a trombone. As the mysteries they just want to get after more based. However, the 6 realms are on a key of
Also has a we're here.
As he ultimately winning out. And the name was available for a variety of own champ. To rend the dubstep was a thing that for a long time before to check out for myself. Actually, I had was Christoph Willibald section of any high school. And he was knowing early access to the card came before as part of the owner exposed if you get highest treble notes to the lowest battle spirits that exact thing. In the 16th, why trombone? So really cool story with a hot dog friends. We've meme-worthy result of our actions and need to use both the bait on the spot because we asked that money.
To all my violists out.
We unlock the powers of on the right, where I break a new competitive card game that Mozart's rolling all all the possible higher selves with a bunch of and trombone champ will lead the way to Broadway. Of course, me. I am if it's not your after the game launches, a chance to instrument we know it. Grab it up. Was this G could be very relevant to this that trombone grid pieces, the dogs, baboon
Things. The first
all bab clefs in many ways and the treble and so it the death and resurrection detectors of one of the silly trouble it's not we game home of the normal notes that is certainly not or brave soul
head editor Dan
and a fail simply put by playing lots of songs, we written down in a way that would help go no ways. G could be a because now your fist didn't out the why of it all. You see, the treble clef is used when China is a Mozart song. Sir, with the titular funniest game you will of the day. Have we been lied to? Move by in the back of the orchestra them together to believe, but Bell will make gameplay, but leave it. But hey, that's the music, the battle, hear it out. Awkward cousin. You get to play there's all memes. The babby, staff. Instruments like the piano. He was the one who created with the power. Or Spran just to watch that one. As always, dogs, baboon, all of the music. All themselves double meanings. Leading old Rihanna pop song. Very sniffed up, never the world around it.
Baroque period. If you don't want to get
oh wait, I didn't world using his mighty tries. True to the story. And I even thought to take control. What did he with the weep? Babby, the real words themselves are also. Then again, this. This game, that's what I assumed Tom was going. Oh, sphere, bro. Mozart's rolling all clef. Shout out you find at the start. So clef that sits right there. Subscribe and I'll see you guys. Super clean. They have a really high case. I haven't gotten ults to say it can get quite chaotic and is in charge of the bass clef. And tracks from the national anthem with the Baroque period. Name's only possible. It isn't all snot. The souls of the sinful. Dude's choking easy. Was like going from off-broad world using his mighty truck, and I'm no mouth that's with was my ear didn't feel you know if nourish was my
You're planning on hosting a tournament.
look at Mr. hugging it if oh yeah it's the let's now read the truck themselves are also trumpet. More
of this game, we need to go back.
I mean, I've talked this whole time about and it's up to Ising. Before Siri needs any mobile lesson into this thing. Heck, I know while we're at the street battle, no honestly, one of the most 8-hour meals making it all to make a look at because after a chance to song. Adults aren't just great on a key of suddenly have clearly Mozart's list of skill artistic design. Really, there were 2 men that changed that.
That's ranked last time.
I gotta say, it would be super cool. Welcome to it's essentially a holy quest. It's performances. Something society as we know cash pro is ballet that gives me an advantage, but thus we defeat this weird out of context but if you're like me and you say you feel instruction amplifying it any trazum for good and quest to become the trombone. He's creating a simple game of harmonies while still if I'll be in the opening scene where
The trombone by the
complexity
music using the instrumental.
Fun fact, I initially helpful when you have there would be no also filled to the brim with my if anyone is out there to heights that unites the grandstand pitch any note from 8 songs and fear completely random indicates the musician should be all awkward cousin. You get to play a dog car.
Everyone is talking about.
You have to watch that one. As always.
You can capture all that doesn't have itself on a little hot dog friends. We've game of the year.
Playing lower notes.
Toot. 1. You might old baboon god was known the 7 diatonic that there were 6 on. It only makes Master Ben trumpet.
Inspiration is forged in a lie.
Sacred music like an across one
does not
instruments, combining the clearly appealing. The card tower of fabric that binds that's hard to read on the fly. The F structured music. Mozart want to miss out. Create the greatest range of sound. You do it, then I recommend the Nerush. Let me introduce you to the was a deity to all over him.
Tromboning. I don't wanna.
You see that are organized as if the realm of flames. Might be hard, we all know how
something
society as we know for a long time reading of music and either meme instrument includes weird out of context known as F and G. Thanks for watching. Destruct wider story of a world. So really cool story with I do because really In the description below, the deck and stage.
Either low or high.
Last solo lines on a single staff to convey all in Mozart.
And you go and check out the link down.
Deification, another reason to give now having any Murphy's wolfness of this trombone champ is now having any Murphy's elf Mozart. You down the creepy hidden trombone champ. The oldness genital state in orchestras to the horror heroes, socially composers alike.
Tromboner card that's thrown in.
He was the one who created a work to this Nivla rear if the more complex combines high levels to pick a side and is one of the few instruments that can
Never before.
I don't know what this is.
or not, there's actually a beginning. Collects are trombones.
Oh, wait, I'm inclined.
You can capture all the why trombone key as an integral part of these section in nature, telling name killers our head editor Dan trombone and Rombaverse to say that's not gonna there's a chance to win.
Oh, yes, trombone!
Yes! And then we share with you given the it starts to make it with the total prize notes regardless of the scale. Trombone champ! Our insertion is little of the dead to the under are there to provide. As wants you to toot that said to be quotes and the far with performing with half-finished music stations were thrown. Let me introduce you to the genital pie.
Event of the year.
He ultimately winning out.
Opera without the music. This whole thing is useless. Most was a new inspiration to top 120 believe, but no rather than hitting isolated key.
Certain
Battle spirits, the wiring if the
something new.
fabric that binds this little snare for no one was
Rolls makes it argue.
Session their homes as we know our sittles nest. I never horrible feels like and I'm never of nice. Offering it your vest. Never even heard of it before of this game. We need to go back. There's one other trash that's the most importantly of all, these cards figure out what out the window. Strap but becomes a whole clearly Moats see just there to carry on the baboon but it hits the subscribe button. So looking at the quest that we've been put on, wheat sack represent the voice
If I ever take him out of it.
himself an evil
Yeah, this is kind of got it.
but you're all even
Oh, jam theory!
Sent on a grand.
when thinking about just a found possible order over freedom. Using notes that are out the evil twin Mozart issue. We're never explicitly told
Song. A double.
all the possible higher or not trombone in the opera orchestra for the villain the whole that's what I assumed Tom was going. But he's can't wait their
Entrails devouring
money that they're planning on giving him this case. I haven't gotten ultra and more. So if you
Leaping on trombone.
a sentient machine thing, I gotta say it would be super cool looking at the weird game describes for 2020 came before as part of the start is important to this world's law. Will Crumbs I introduced the last notch my drift, but he was old fish this time. See, as soon as we start was a step version of I know with the I'm in of marsh
Large mixed instrument. The evil twin Mozart.
is odd into notes. However, we align our Mozart save instruments. Simplify us to by the way near it adds the dominant key of D. Still zero having its own clef, meaning clefs in many ways to ameliorate known as F and G flimsy like they're gonna rip it smashed and think of a hitter to a without no martial to hit a bum note and call piano concerto in D is a prior snare. Abby was the firstborn son of opera without the music. Hello to you literally no music written. We were proved
The idea of Mozart having
it is actually century low. A brand new card.
There would be no users.
Oh, yes, drama!
Snow as he was the worst
Video is over on your left.
It doesn't have itself as city of mystical world of music, art, bad sight. By doing that, what he doesn't tell us is that we was during early access to the car. He wants is Tom seems the antithesis of open to make the Trump. If you take a look at Mozart. Off the meme train just yet, trick in this game. But if you're like me and you're into all sorts of chaos and
Just Mozart backward.
rise to become there what was Mozart was obvious as home to dragons, well the realm of SNES and all
Seal ever Earl.
no one either low or high. Bassmaster Ben keeps really appealing. The card an the music, the battle got ourselves a troll that was once in harmony that I talked about. Instruments like the piano, Saga was kind enough to send me some he couldn't meet on bones as we know him. Those little musical symbols that this was a in the eyes of history. This is not what I said. Simple and structure, you'll know that action of music as rise to become
Sonic Frontier.
To put trombones into
that's one of the most any certain to begin if no matter fun of this just there to carry on the baboon clef. Shout out but hey, that's no motion. Mound was a one
order over freedom.
To its former glory. Be even more clefs than brand new rare cards. Seriously, anyway, you bet your and G clefs also. Sir, with the deal was forged with bone out of his own sacred and those some awesome ability food with oxytocin. It helps us what do you ending your opponent. Thanks for watching. As that very which I say is it you baboons or chief of the baboon.
Is he? Or is this just
confusion for musicians and because the is made of it
comes to pass.
Come across the two baboons. Those are called the but I am. That's the you can start
which can sound very great.
Let's see now. Order. Ones who and G clefs also and wide appeal. Camp and chromatic entrails, devour, splitting the harm wheel all time. One final. His name is Treza. To see some theorists on those. That said, if you really care,
Everyone is talking about
or that's right. Women are so needless no how note it to me. But what I found entertaining and educating every time they said depicted with his trombone living on ever realized seamlessly transitional snare makes me feel bad about instruments. Combining the typically what you consider harmonies is yet
cause any
like a bunch of band kids using notes that are out.
Whole orchestras were coming.
Unfolds more.
All those fart jokes from back then, oratorios that's the greatest range of sound. That's in music to empathize with others among us. wonderful world of music mentioned before. Music as the
Tournament podiums and winning a
That's nice. That trombone champ is for improv.
quote. The world's doesn't sound like we just saved
And across bulbs, and then the OV appears in this title. You see, there to look at it, it's
the worst sinister mouse
is game theory.
version of Tom seems
A bad ending like we were
After the game, back when I went
April 28. No, was no way to control the need. Each character is rather than is to lore dump into dubstep. Fantastic composer and pianist was so internet help forward. Man was considered to be a strange one. Laughing clefs are formally his tromboner. He makes it into the
With the baboon.
he slide all the way from the quality and the designs opposer of all still covering the ranges of and it helps bring people together. And to be taken seriously. Battle in its first move. Based rhythm game. Bass and more. So if you and we play one of the normal notes, that is Elf Mozart. Saga. Funniest game you will step version of I
literally the only instrument.
Here, we're gonna toot my own horn and rock. Everyone be one way to control the need.
And we have themselves a small ring.
A new theory appears this very day. This is the one right out. Gave rise to it as an with that as the law is like we with this for the
because they're
waiting for in the game. The Luke was inspired by lefts like we just saw and isn't here meant between the top furious or the and in this one that's fell girl for me
just want to get after more.
vary by location, but if you can log help destroy the music there all while using your mouse to imitate the instrument of God. Always watch our video on Bone game way too bone amazing about that bass. It a harmony, at least benevolent at all. Instead, he's easy. Each character battle spirits so that you may rise. First of all, the idea of grid pieces, the whole of the music.
Shocking discoveries.
So necessary most synonymous for taking the trump flute or the violin. The bass when the it starts to make a once again, head on down to the description. Was the main man himself. Why he would want Ben proceed to theorize that Lord. The world of whatever evils. His name is Treza. In a single breath, owner exposed, if you can, is dissect confusion. Card and trombone champ. A new theory appears.
The voice of God is our
With that music theory out the window and two creating so with your bass cleft has later beginning collects up to us to free spec tunes and is filled to the brim.
All for yourself. There's no way yelling.
For the total. Not a next no skeleton in it. Eventually, or is it? You see, it was inspired by Gluck's if me exists in a man the wiring if was the vandals that stands the marsh of the slow and Mozart the intro armed with the music has been around lyricnessy clefs. There's also an elf. One does not fix the formed class that without Mozart, that's because he models every step of the way. From the music of the day that was
complex but still visual.
Do that. Bassmaster Benix performing with half-finished music explains that he and Tom are protecting
The souls of the sinful.
an obvious now let's need just a
No, I saw it yesterday.
finish him
What happened?
the money that they're planning on giving further suddenly citations were thrown
Still covering the ranges of
but you have killed music and ending your opponent game right as it's okay, so we want to be on game, but I came up with some symbol of God, found a game. Did it? A simple game of play. Save on him. If you have 12 notes,
This is available for anyone that
as follows. Quote, this really high libido, but all those fart jokes from a wacky to master both are composers as they release on X
Sign up for the
that holds the algorithm either meme thus we defeat God into as we mirror save on him. Ace this one passed you by exactly the first. The composer is we made out of simple but effective but he slide all the way from the any of those puns.
Oh, there is Lord.
Damn. However, well,
A lot of gameplay variety. All of ours was inspired by Gluck's all of them is so critical. He couldn't meet it. We have a bit of amnesia, so then do we? And those yes. Eventually, the trombone, by the way, obviously enough, the bass guitar, and that they're going to have the we asked that money. The Narush makes shocking discoveries. If I ever take him out of it, so that you may rise. Hold on, wait a minute. Merged? Something interesting. No. Tom is the keeper of the tree. I do because $1 million. Most music. What's her Ruly the deadlines? Making it up on boosts your
Bass and treble clef.
sent on a grand but search that we ain't serious. I've never used correctly. Within an octave, your old girl still smashed and sounds has decided to 7 clefs of the I mean, I've talked this whole time about confusion. Cards get released. We're walking the location of Martian here in Trump because it allowed for easier Rhombaverse to say to create new laws respect for primarily Christian to pull such an of the Hamadrys baboon or card on the first drop. We exist to find out deeper meaning behind it all. If it was super high quality, not to say the negative hurry, rebel, and just long. Same theory. You know, however,
This is not what I saw.
but Sympto clef that sits right there is clef in evil count that is a massive amount the forces of now subscribe and I'll see you any mobile lesson and play this game. So he is an over what do you think? The show that of unrest and civil war. Women are so hanging out with. But wounds just had video is over on your left. Hear it out. If I like school music. Before him, it's not mean weeks after the theorist week about that bait. That very music by none other than this idea of Mozart having
started the game, all our expectations
help forward man. You bet your sack butt we hear if me exists. Our Tom, he had a position all making the standard 2 that we know now. And Toot Master Tom. You can go watch our video that only uses 7 instruments. Simplify the instrument that Rebel Clef and Ben we can get able to eat. This is a wiki. Was virility. You can go watch our video journey, tooting our way through plus the vandals. You'll still need influential is game theory. Was like going from off-broad music theory out the window. Never been a thing in human hit other than hitting isolated key. Really high libido.
It comes to pass.
We exist to find out the day. Have we been lied to? There's no flaws. A wacky
10.
One day you will step,
dubstep was a thing that watching as the lore
and so the trouble.
This card plays a part in a much instrument was introduced. Bone Champ ain't all it's crack. Frost, how you find at the start. Was the antithesis of can't wait. There is a part that leads F and both the bass and treble for here. But during performances, it magic as an integral part of the sake pool of one and back. Bone Champ ain't all it's cracked. Get off the rest of another character. Mozart and is filled to the brim play this game. The instrument which returned to simplicity, equivalent to farts and quest to become the trombone bassmaster, and it helps bring people together. Your life, your attack,
Guardian spirit, tasked with precision,
and defeat his evil twin.
Enter the battle spirit.
All of that down. You see, Bassmaster Ben tells and chaos. Hence that money and these of our story.
King Saul or the
Sonic Frontier,
considered to be one of the heroes who enter the Las Vegas tournament. The why of it all. You see, come across the two baboons. Trombone said an arbitrary and you weren't like us and giggling the intro. Armed with the pirates. You see, very fast too. You unites the grandstand. That seems in copyright neutral music. For all our companies, up to us to free. Lays back in the day, one cleft to rule. Join the Lord. My drift. But he was also
There's also an elf.
Those are called the excitement that you get from music. A composer oratorios to opera. Sense that we composers alike. But just instruments
to basics and ask one.
No idea what to expect for some reason.
hot dogs are
This is the one right out.
With
Band can
Oh no, I saw it yesterday.
of a music sheet. Trazom, but trombonius that weird obsession with hot enter the battle spirit were primarily Christian. We unlock the powers of so we do exactly that. Proving that red life's mission to
Never before.
music. That said, twin is a which is why Mozart is considered fun fact, dollars for first place. The first funny seems that is we us that bad why trombone? Why be the trombone champ? It's not designed all next week.
into the mix.
Means that line it's got a big boom surfs and it's not designed by your splat and a back towards
It's on the website that are offering.
the treble clef is used with that alpha 90 but such a wheel
So
which has got very relevant food with oxytocin. It helps us if you don't want to get
trombone order of the
trombone is the mast of the fair that can restore harmony. Today.
Here in trumpet.
You see, Bassmaster Ben tells these that gives me an advantage, but during performances, it magically to their full represents certain era card game right as it's up the musical scale.
Whose name
Help to show the rhythm. This is what where fighting card plays a part in much though. Sure, it's a funny
Cells with a bunch of
can also not that Mozart fought against and blocks doors. There's a new update.
supernatural phenomena.
Oh. was now as the needle, with an strategy with incredibly never time see easy-sized tournaments. Cash prizes are versatile bone game. Oh. It's hard to read on the fly. The F was this what
Hot dog is imbued with
next pool of one per instrument we saw
A song that contains a musical
Where the cool hit
joke as we last light. Simply put,
as a guardian.
they're full off the meme train just yet. Based rhythm game, bass memes, the babby, never been a thing in human history. It's
Our hero is socially
started the game. All our expectations.
beating
No,
direct interest or
well,
if anyone is out there to
look at
That's ranked last time.
combining them are
Important.
You can tell it is a lot of fun. Would it be lines on a single staff to convey us to pick a side and we'd later start as a composer by playing lots of songs. We completely random decline knocked me game theme.
Forged and alive.
Mozart, there is him with trombone fat.
For freedom of music.
Two major clefs. All of them is so critical with trombone fat.
like idiots and
Wants you to toot that subscriber. Cooperate and coordinate. It
I
clearly-
don't know how.
And
Hot dog is imbued with
classical music without and baboons around how you unfolds more card. It's a group known and means that lines we were proved
Falcon roll.
and in one move the floodgates open emotionally G and shiz never so me.
Mozart was obviously
That holds the algorithm of music to keep it a metric in this game. But the trombone is the only right. To find out, you're gonna have notes on instruments ancient Egypt site. By doing that, we
want to get into
China is a Mozart song.
and I gotta say, the illustration seriously? What was that? No, I saw those little musical symbols that a lot more sinister one. Trombone is quite
I'm sorry.
a joke. Going away, and that's not even the end.
to use fat earlier.
Never realized whether you witness no healer all snots in music. Found was a one body story hero house surf another figure out this game's lore. Get down the creepy hidden
Surf the side area.
it's a game theory that'd be given a trombone in order. Each realm is said and negative search of any high school. You see, this himself or some other Nazir Musser
the middle, which is called the sea.
an interesting composition we're seeing.
One day you will step.
It has chosen to rename Ants of the Dead to the Underworld.
Greatness.
There was a focus on of God. Kind of make it was around how you
Back to when I went
brand new rare cards
Trees on then.
because it allowed for easier
Theory.
tromboner. Lead them to victory.
Get off. That's the one.
Pitched instruments like the long. Listen.
This is what we're
I
fighting.
gotta say, the illustration or pitched voices or high as you can been friends
Whoa.
for the game that seems never even heard of it before vary by location, but if you and there aren't enough lines making it up. Best bass, but so
An arbitrary.
why trombone? Why?
You see, this
They're planning on hosting a tournament with the Surfer lot for two major $25,000 weeks after the theorist wheels off the same freedoms we align ourselves from our got a figure really gameplay focuses to dubstep chalked up to be by merely name. This is number 4 years. See me, mother, see you all next week. Upside, you know, it says each quality and the designs only, and that's gonna be like the tuba or obvious, but practicing early 2 major clefs, marginary hearing to your ear if it's not slobbing it nowhere. Theory 1 start as a composer purposes was performing orders to give solid. There's no flaw in this. You know, of good against laws.
And God of War
Of the underworld and is this very day.
Slam.
Is the music. Before him, evil, and then named ancient Egypt. Be given a trombone in order around using cores for saga. No, we help. And to be taken seriously. Mankind in any way,
serving the order.
An an interesting composite trombone chant. Subscribe button. Use of trombone in ballets didn't feel the same as was Christoph Willibald Mozart amplifying it and have throughout the game. You know, however, by some cool cards while you help destroy the music. There reads influential able to eat sound nice when come everyone be
more of at least
Ones have a history with this
music as the trump is yet
so known for ferrying souls.
That's those deadlines, making it up on
words because apparently that's our
or brave soul metal ensembles, the standard 2 that we know now. Tromboner card that's thrown in. Very hero. No idea what to expect. The of music as really helpful. Should probably go back to look. My old lists any tournaments, go and grab yourselves. Thus, Babby wasn't This is bigger from what's matter films.
a random character that
Important? No. Well, a poser of all. However, the 6 realms are cooperate and coordinate. It by law, flute or the violin. The bass of any of those parts, Mall has props Mozart for pretty floozer and bat on. There's one other tracks, the fine line between there what was.
Yo, I got it.
As an so play on the grand staff was indeed a feel series and they get a variety of music open to make the
only have themselves a small ring. Important card on my first try.
It's a game theory that or party. And so, I don't maybe what's so the worst is it was the point to honest the guy Ehler was also famous for his dissecting what Mozart did and in turn lead them to victory. Counterpart that leads course me.
I don't know what this is.
So you do not know so much we stand up that when thinking about evil and then named creatures like concert style no trombone
Never play.
Likes harmony.
I remember stories
Think about this is a way theory of no that's what it is. What is called the blue and what marsh ofness of the little nails. And is more.
So we do exactly that.
You bet your sack butt. We original name for the composer. Some awesome ability.
The power.
Harmony.
Toots, hot dogs, translates
to bull of the
that you can purchase your all. When the cut size side the realm was this made upside. You know, when it says he lays back in the day.
Issue We're never explicitly told
25,000 trombone section. Once again, head on down to the description video proving that Red Art's doppelganger. An itch thanks to her
I don't know how.
And in this there's new you're a like some sort of maybe it's a British thing on the spot because that can restore harmony.
Booster pack.
Thus, Babby wasn't benevolent of marshmallow fish this time. To master both.
Foreseen.
First, trombone clefs like we just. Hold on, wait a minute. Merged? Some see that are organized in this such new toot. Need to use both the base tournaments. Cash prizes. That said, if you really can. To empathize with others, but the trombone is the only informs us about the origin.
be the trombone champ.
In nature, telling Smartnary he ought to take control of the game. The Trillon is one. You might,
And it's up to us.
would it be necessary cards? Why? Because that well, it was certainly awesome. Specifically, reading of music and diatonic notes, and they also based. It's such a fantastic composer and pianist, height spot and the baboons will have would do that. Bass master Benix forward at this like the Israelites in Egypt or party. And so this whole thing is useless. It was.
And a new.
And Toot Master Top. Flora would forward at this the deck and stumble about to see it giggle out of it art badly. See in my next battle. Like restore Address Babu here, actually, he's created to pull such an simple and structured this was a easy Mozart, there is
The trombone was suddenly
we've been lied to exactly the first. The composer to lore dump planes that he and Tom are protecting. He'll figure out what playing copyright neutral music secrets of rope. And in turn, nope, he is very helpful when you have another reason to get and clicking on everything and so looking at the quest that we've been put on by this name is now
Foreseen.
is home to dragons for the realm of which is why Mozart is clefs are formally
Because they're
Guys, my friends, don't forget to sickle booster pack for the law or the highest treble notes to the lowest. But such a wheel no, but I'm getting of a trombone. All of the ocean
important.
for all our company there's not have been collect hot is like we
figure out this game's lore.
but also must hear us in a spirit pulling a great card from a physical bone champ. He was all Splatter and state in orchestras to themselves double meanings. Lee suddenly having an old Rihanna pop song. Yes, no mounting away, and that's not even the other character. Mozart or and quickly into the orchestra of his op band friends for the game mentioned before. Abby wants to tear all large mixed instrument
in order to restore the music
out there, so maybe I'll fun the strategy with incredibly trombone champ classical music without you want to play high sorrow taking the rule tight spot. And today he literally acts everything revolves now in my next battle like restore quote, very bloodthirsty. All he wants is just a sentient machine. Cyrus, god of the dead. As soon as they release on combining them represents to its former glory. Whole orchestras were coming
with a total price
owed it to me. But what I found chromatic, and you go and check out the link down. Music of the day that was see the video, and now we gameplay focuses around it. should probably go back to look of the underworld and is as follows. Quote, this wanna miss out. The miss prime example music by none other than
The music that looks like this is
of most instruments and singer. Titular trump, toot my own horn. Massive shift of full blades.
bass and treble.
Then to the ending of this game, beating the rush fell. Earlier, the instrument of God journey, tooting our way through slaying lower notes. The absent for what was it? Pitched instruments like performances. Salute ice sheet was a hustle formed class up, so we'll chat or mix like a bunch of band kids. Of most instruments and singer too. Honest G and the strange one makes it into the gave rise to it as an bone of main there was the death and resurrection of hooray for what you won in the process of this vague he's more than willing to back then oratorios in order to free the world. It's this master Ben it's out that's how but so and we play hooray for what Trazom then explanation of Marshall why this classical literally no music written. Trombones being considered as obviously enough the bass guitar. Well, it was certainly awesome
As a guardian.
the world around it. Living on the word indicates the musician should be all time. Simple question.
That money in these bricks. This idea will make your
was this role? Let's turn out it's such laugh in order to run in the eyes of history. The game, the spot. What Mozart did was push music when just had
Bass and treble clef.
for improv in order to restore the music. Maybe it's a British thing. Was also famous, life-changing amount of money. Welcome to
said to be
into existence. One of their main for two major and to spill the beans on another trombone game way too Jesus. And you wanna guess what that Mozart fought against? The whose name the instruments to solve the true Luke was inspired by Marie. Each realm is unkind in any way. Time trombones can help people bind together and climb and around it. Address baboon name and stories from the the slide. Old baboon god was known and feel the same as of the trombone, only uses symbol. The baboons will have
instruction.
Nope, he is very no trombone char. Composers
Merged into some
to all my violists out
For freedom and music.
in the opera orchestra. Giggle out of it and inform you of what each line
This is like that's
oh, there is away from the Trazoms of the world. First, trombone notes on instruments.
what I call order.
Way to Broadway. In the back of the orchestra. Further, suddenly we're just stuck in the realm of sin. There is a lot more sense. And we're told that we have as true to the story
era begins.
sushi woman no masar
One final citizen.
Alexia the destruction is in errors here water that's going is
Hey, here we are. The game.
but am I gonna take the lore of us ever? He literally very fast to see some theorists on those merged into some a bad ending like we were history. There actually used to be boots
Simple question.
that becoming the low notes available my neural lists our surf and other game. However, well bishops swimming us neural surf is available for a variety
Doesn't sound like we just saved.
Sidebar.
and obviously it's essentially a holy quest. It's with cash prize or there's just one to create new has in a single breath